Okay, we are back with the next session of DILR Jugaad solutions, and we'll be looking at another DILR set from CAT, and we'll see how to solve it without spending too much time and how to use the choices. And so let's get quickly started with the session. But before we start the session, something extremely important for all of you. The much awaited this 299 is scheduled for 2nd and 3rd August. This is an online event, and you can register for it by scanning this particular QR code. Okay, what will we cover? We'll cover an overall preparation strategy, and what is how to take the paper and what is the way forward in the next 4 odd months. What also you'd be doing, and then we look at each of the 3 sections: verbal, quant, and DILR. And in these 3 sections, we'll see how best you should be attempting the paper. What are the tips and techniques? What are the Jugaad solutions you can apply? And believe me, Jugaad solutions are possible even in verbal, because even in verbal, we solve questions by and large by elimination of choices. So when you look at Jugaad, it's applicable for all 3, and that is what we'll be looking at in addition to other things in this session. So if you have not registered so far, click on this QR code, scan this QR code, register, and be ready for the session. And yes, there will be some homework given before the session. We expect you to solve these papers, which will be shared with you. Please make sure you do that before attending the session. Great. So let's move on with the current session. Okay. We are, as I normally start with, and for the benefit of those who have not attended my earlier sessions, we are looking at the DILR section, which is a 40-minute section to be done with 22 questions. And this has been the pattern of CAT by and large 40 minutes into 3 since CAT 2020. The number of questions has varied a little, but by and large, we are looking at 20 to 22 questions in about 5 sets of data. And that's what we will be looking at. Okay. Now, coming to the second part, what is a good score? If you look at CAT papers from 2020, even other 2020 onwards, even earlier, typically I would say 50% marks, not percentile, but marks, is a score which will give you anything from 97.5 to 99.5 percentile. Okay? So 50% marks is what you're looking at. Obviously, if the paper is easier, you will be able to do more. If it's a difficult paper, you might be able to do, you'll probably do a little less also, but that's fine. Okay? And what does that mean? Look at 50% marks in each of the years. Okay? CAT 2020, 50%, it was 72 mark paper, 50% will be 36. You will be here above 99. CAT 2020, 60 mark paper, CAT 22, 60 mark paper, CAT 23, 60 mark paper, 50% is 30 marks. Where would you be? In 23, 22, 21, you would be here. So in CAT 2021, at 30 marks, you would be something like a 97.5, 97, 97.5 percentile. While in the other 3 years, 2020, CAT 22, CAT 23, you will be somewhere around 99.23 percentile. And what about CAT 24, which is last year's paper? 50% would be again something like a 97, 97.5 percentile. And I'm sure you would appreciate the fact that CAT 2024 was probably the easiest CAT quant section in the last 10 odd years. And yet we are looking at, even if I say what is 38 marks out of 66, it's less than 60% marks. So in the worst case, you need to go to 60% marks is what I would suggest in this paper. So 50% is usually good enough to get a 97.5 to 99.5, and that is what you should look at. Obviously, if the paper is easier, you will be able to get 50% marks in a shorter amount of time, and you'll be able to do an extra set. Secondly, if you use the Jugaad solution or the Jugaad technique that I've been discussing in these sessions, in any case, एक set तो extra करोगे ही तुम, ठीक है? चलो, let's go continue and try to understand what is Jugaad. Very, very important. Jugaad is not a shortcut technique. It's an approach. It's an approach of how to solve problems. Okay? It involves using all available information. You'll say, इसमें क्या खास बात है? The problem is most students don't use all available information. They are so hung up on the questions. They are so hung up on the data. And they are so hung up on making the table कि उसके अलावा कुछ याद ही नहीं आता. So Jugaad tells you their job is to solve the questions. Your job is not to focus on filling up the table. You fill up the table to solve questions. So you make a table or do the working based on what the questions are asking you. So it is important that you use all available information and use it to solve the question. And when I say all available information is available in questions also, choices also. That is something that most people miss. So hence the Jugaad approach is DILR. You first decipher the information. So the basic information which is given, you decipher the information. That is the D. Then you don't solve the data set. You look at the questions and you identify the information given in the question. This is the step most people forget about. Third step is the layout. Now you look at tabulating the data and then you look at solving the questions. So it is DILR, decipher the information given to you, identify the information given in the questions and the choices, create your table or a layout or the tabulate the data based on the requirement of the questions. So tabulation has to be done looking at the question, not otherwise, and then you keep solving the question. And there's nothing like first I'll make the table, then सवाल करूंगा. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता है. It's a parallel process that we can look at. Okay. Now I hope you have downloaded the exercise. And those of you who have missed the earlier sessions are available in the OpenCat. You can again scan this QR code, go to OpenCat, you'll find the GP ka Jugaad tab, and there you will see the earlier sessions. For each session, the PDF of the day of the session, the question set which we have picked up, and the video is given. Your job is first to download only the PDF, solve it yourself, and then look at the video. Looking at the video without solving the PDF, without solving the data set yourself is a waste of time. My suggestion is do it for all of them if you have missed it. And for the current session, if you have not downloaded the exercise, please put this on hold, pause the video, download the exercise, solve it, and then come back and look at the video. Okay. So extremely important you follow the process. It is first solve the data set yourself, then look at my solution, not the other way around. Otherwise, you'll only end up learning but not being able to implement. It is important for you to learn to implement also. Okay. Chalo, let's look at this data set from CAT 2021. One of the more difficult sets of data. Difficult is that time consuming zyada tha. Okay. And there's something in this data set. If you look at the information closely, you'll be able to pick up. So as you can see, कहानी लिखी हुई है पढ़ने के लिए. Yes, the only good thing is 6 questions. Okay? There are 6 questions are there, but a long story given to us. Okay, and and when you look at even without reading it, you can very clearly see. अगर तुमने मेरे पुराने session देखे हैं, I'm sure you'll be able to pick out कि कौन से question interesting हमारे लिए. The interesting questions for us are question 1 and question 6. These are giving us numbers which can be used, multiple numbers which can be used to eliminate choices. So whenever we have this kind of a question, दिल जो है खुश हो जाता है कि yes, these are questions which will be useful for me. So let's start reading the data set. Decipher first. A journal plans to publish 18 research papers written by 8 authors, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, in 4 issues of the journal scheduled in January, April, July, October. Each research paper is written by exactly one of the 8 authors, so no overlap. Each paper is written by one. They are not multiple authors. 5 papers were scheduled each in the first 2 issues, while 4 were scheduled in the last 2 issues, which means January and April 5 papers, July and October 4 papers each. Every author wrote at least 1 paper and at most 3 papers. Okay? So every author wrote at least 1 and at most 3 papers. So what do we have here so far? So far we know there are 8 authors, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay? Each of them have written 1 or 2 or 3 papers. Each of them, because it says at least 1 and at most 3 papers. These papers will be published in a journal whose issues will be there in January, April, July, and October. So the journal will have 4 issues and these papers will be published in one of these 4 issues. Each issue will have the first 2 issues, January and April issue will have 5 papers published. July and October will have 4 papers published. So there are a total of 18 research papers. So 18 research papers, 5 January, April, 5 each in January, April, 4 each in July, October, written by these 8 authors. Each author writes a paper alone. No paper is written by multiple authors. And each author writes either 1, 2 or 3 papers. Okay? So far, this is what it has been told to us. Okay. So let's go further. The total number of the papers written by ADGH was double the total number of papers written by the other 4. So ADGH is double of the other 4. So A, D, GH. Total papers is 18. So if ADGH has written double of BCEF, that means ADGH should have written 12 papers and BCF should have written 6 papers. Now what does this tell me? This tells me each of ADGH have written 3 papers. Why? If let's say H writes 2 papers, then one of these 3 people have to write 4 papers, because maximum number of papers written by any person is, any author is 3. So if I say this is 3, this is 3, 6 and 2, 8, A will have to be 4, which is not possible. So the moment it says that this is 12, we are very clear ADGH have written 3 papers each. And what about BCF? We don't know. So far, we don't have any information on in this regard. Okay? But BCF is going to be 6 papers to be written by these people. Okay? So quite possible the question will ask us to find out some about the number of papers written by BCF and so on and so forth. Okay, chalo aage chalte hain. Okay. What next? 4 of the authors are from India. So 4 authors from India and 2 each were from Japan and China. Each author belonged to exactly one of the 3 areas: manufacturing, logistics, and automation. So another thing which we have authors from, like I'm just writing, okay, India, China, Japan, and there are areas of manufacturing, automation, and logistics. So we will also most probably need to find out which author is from which country and which area. Okay, 4 of the authors are from logistics, so 4 are from logistics. 2 more are from automation, 2 from automation. So since there are total of 8, that means manufacturing will also be 2. Okay. Similarly, if we say the number of authors, 4 are from India, 2 from China, 2 from Japan. So this much information, this additional information is given to us, that 4 authors from India, 2 each from Japan, China, and similarly manufacturing, 4 of the authors are from logistics area, 2 are from automation area. Obviously, the remaining 2 will be from the third area, which is called the manufacturing area. As per journal policy, none of the authors could have more than 1 paper in any issue of the journal. So each author can get a maximum 1 paper published in a particular issue. Okay. Now after that, we have this whole tamasha given to us. We'll come back to it. But what is it that we need to do? Obviously, we need to find out for each of these 7, 8 people which country they are from, the name of the country, the area they are working in, the number of papers that they have written. For ADGH, we already know 3 each, but BCF we need to find. So this is what we need to find: who published, each of the authors, which country they do belong to, which area are they working in, manufacturing, automation, or logistics, what is the total number of papers they have published, and which issue is their paper getting published in. So this is the information we need, and we'll need this kind of a huge table. Okay. So let's get down to work now. First thing what we'll need to do, identify. Decipher to ho gaya hai. Identify karenge. Let's go to the question and identify. First question: what is the correct sequence of number of papers written by BCEG? Very good question. We have already found na. G ne kitne likhe hain? 3. G has written 3 papers. So this question very clearly I can use as a Jugaad question, and I can say choice 3 and 4 wrong, because G can write only 3 papers. G has written 3 papers, so 2 choices gone. That means the remaining also we can find out. So B, C, E, G, we know G is 3. B, C, E can either be 1, 2, 2 or 3, 1, 1. Now, do you remember what is the total number of papers written by BCEF? It is 6. If BCEF is 6, okay, and we can see in this particular question 2 choices gone. The remaining 2 choices, BC is 5, BC is 5. That means F should be 1. एक और चीज पता चल गई. कितना अच्छा सवाल है ये, and people don't look at the question. So this clearly telling me F has written 1 paper, G has written 3 paper, तो ठीक है, but F has also written 1 paper is something that I have already found out. Next question. Okay. How many papers were written by Indian authors? Okay. Then we have which of the following must be true? Each issue. Statement question 4, false. Do you see a pattern? Question 1 and question 2 are about the number of papers. Question 3 is about which issue. Question 5 is also about which issue. what is published in which issue. So question 3, 4, 5 are one kind of question which are focusing on what happened in a particular issue. Questions 1 and 2 are another kind of question that's saying who wrote how many papers. Okay. Question number 6, which are the following correct sequence of number of papers. Again, I will go ahead step and then say questions 1, 2, and 6, which are focusing on number of papers. So if I'm able to find number of papers and some extra information, probably I can answer these 3 questions. While question number 3, 4, 5 are asking me to find out which issue who worked in, which issue published a paper of which author and which area. Okay. So which issue is question 3, 4, 5? How many papers is question 1, 2, and 6? So there's what the broad structure is. But what is important is I can also see question number 6 as a Jugaad question. Yeah, इसमें भी तो वही है ना जो इधर दिया हुआ है question 1. What it says, I can use similar stuff here also, but maybe I can't do it immediately. But once I get to the 3 areas, I'll possibly be able to pull out how many how many papers have been written in which of the 3 domains. Okay, okay, clear है? तो चलो, let's get started. I will not work here. I'll work here because इसमें मेरे को थोड़ा सा काम करने की जगह चाहिए. If I work here, I will hardly have space to work. So I will, for the change, I have broken it into 2 different parts. Yeah, I'll pick up the information from here and start writing. But before we start doing that, let me put down the information that we have already picked up. We know that 8 authors, A, D, G, H have written 12 papers. So whatever we have already found out, let me write down here. A, D, G, H have written 12 papers each. 12 papers total. So this is 3, 3, 3, 3. Second thing we know is B, C, E, F have written 6 papers. Okay. So B, C, E, F have written 6 papers. And okay, we'll come back to the other stuff later. Okay. Then we know that there are 4 Indians, 2 Chinese, and 2 Japanese. And we also need to find out the domain they have working in. So we have Indian authors, Japanese authors, and Chinese authors. Okay. And the area they have worked in are manufacturing, logistics, and automation. Okay. Okay. Let me write down the way it is given out here. Question number 6 को copy करो. Manufacturing, automation, manufacturing, and logistics. So auto, manufacturing, and logistics. Okay. So you can either draw these lines or not draw these lines. Does not really matter. Okay. And what does it say? It said there are 4 Indian, 2 Japanese, and 2 Chinese. So total of 8 authors. And what was it about the number from each of the domain? Okay, 4 of the author from logistics and 2 automation. 4 logistics. So 4 are logistics, 2 are automation. So 2 should be manufacturing. Okay, this is the about the papers. Okay, okay, and what else have we picked up from here? Anything else that I'm missing out on? 8 authors, yes, that rest of the stuff I think is in the table format only. Okay. None of the author could have written more than 1 paper in any issue of the journal, and it is either 1, 2, or 3 papers per author. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, let me do one thing. Okay, now first of all, based on question 1, we have already found that G is 3. If G is 3, question 1, choice 3 and 4 are wrong because 6 cannot be 1. That tells me BCE have to be 1, 2, 2 or 3, 1, 1. So that means 2, 2, 4, 1, 5 or 5. That means BCE is 5. BCE total is 5. That means F has to be 1 because these 3 have to be 5. So we have already found some information. Let's start putting that. Okay. We know A, D, G, H is 12. A is 3. D, G, H. We know F is 1. F is 1. So far we have picked up so much information. Okay. And the others we can always, we'll also look at, we'll look at them as we go along. Okay. Now, let's start with the rest of them. Statement 1. F, an Indian author from logistics, wrote only 1 paper. F is an Indian author from logistics wrote only one paper. Yes, we already know. Thank you very much. And it was scheduled in October. It was scheduled in October, so obviously nothing in January, April, or July. Okay. One information I forgot. What was the total number of papers published in each of the four? Okay, let me just. Okay, this was January was 5. Okay, I'll just erase this table and possibly make it a little below because I यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा लिख लेता हूँ मैं. January of 5, April was 5, 4, and 4. And the other thing, let me write at the bottom. China, India. Then we have, what was the other one? China and Japan. And we have automation, manufacturing, and logistics. India is 4, Japan 2, China 2. Similarly, logistics was 4, if I remember correctly. Let me just confirm. Logistics kitna tha? Yeah, 4 of the authors from logistics, the other 2 are 2 each. 4, 2, and 2. Okay. So total 8. Okay. So statement 1 we have looked at. Yes. So done. Statement 2, A is from automation area. A is from automation area and did not have a paper scheduled in the October issue. So nothing in October. A is from automation, nothing in October. How many papers published? So 3 papers. So that means 1 each. Okay. Third statement. None of the Indian authors are from manufacturing area. None of the Indian authors are from manufacturing area. So no Indian in the manufacturing domain. And none of the Japanese or Chinese authors are from automation. So automation does not have a Japanese or a Chinese. That means both the automation people have to be from India. And that means since there's no Indian in the manufacturing, the remaining 2 Indian authors will be from the logistics area. Okay. So next statement taken care of. A and H were from different countries. A and H are from different countries. A is automation. Automation is only India. So A is from India. Anyone who's only automation has to be India. So A is from automation. Okay. It says A and H are from different countries. So A is India. What was it said? H. H is that means either Japan or Chinese. It's either Japan or China. We don't know. Okay. But had their paper scheduled in exactly the same issues. A and H had in the same issues. So A had 3 papers in January, April. So H also has 3 papers. So when will they be published? January, April, and July. A and H, different countries, paper scheduled in the same issues. Next one. C and E, both Chinese authors. So C and E are Chinese. C is China. E is also China. So 2 Chinese gone. There are 2 Chinese now. What about H? That means H has to be Japanese. Because maximum you can have 2 Chinese, and that C and E are definitely Chinese. So H cannot be Chinese. So I should be able to straight away say that means it cannot be Chinese, it is Japanese. Okay. So we have got 2 Chinese, we have got 1 Japanese, 2 Indian. That means the remaining 3 people, 2 will be Indian and 1 will be Japanese. Okay. So let's continue with this. A and H from different countries but had their paper scheduled exactly in the same issues. Okay. Statement 5 now. C and E, both Chinese authors from different areas. Chinese authors are from different areas. So what are the areas possible for Chinese? That they can be from manufacturing or logistics only. So one of these people, C and E, if C is from manufacturing, E will be from logistics. And if C is from logistics, E will be from manufacturing. Okay. So C and E, both Chinese from different area, had same number of papers scheduled. Same number of papers. C and E have same numbers of papers scheduled. Yes. It can either be, if you look at question number 1, C and E can either be 2-2 or 1-1. Okay. C and E can either be 2-2 or 1-1. Okay. They had same numbers of papers scheduled, whatever that number is. Okay. Further, E had paper scheduled in consecutive issues. Answer will get. Why am I saying if E has paper scheduled in consecutive issues? What does this mean? It means E has more than 1 papers published. E has published either 2 or 3, not 1. That means this choice is wrong. Correct answer has to be this. Question 1, choice 2 is wrong because C and E have papers published in C and E have more than one paper. How do I know that? It says E has papers published in consecutive issues. To publish in consecutive issues, you need at least 2 papers. Na? So that means the number of papers published by C and E has to be greater than 1. एक का answer मिल गया. But this also tells me that B, C, E will be 1, 2, 2. So B will be 1, C will be 2, E will be 2. I have done one question so far. Okay. And let me look at question number 2. How many papers were written by Indian authors? Again, I'm just highlighting what are the important parts. Indian authors. This one we have already done. And question 6 is my Jugaad question again. Number dekh lete hain. Which of the following is the correct sequence of papers by authors from automation, manufacturing, logistics, respectively? Now, if you look at logistics and manufacturing only, automation and logistics has only 2 people, 2 authors each. So let's look at them. Automation, I have only 1 person so far, so 3. The other person could be 2 or 3, I don't know. Okay. What about manufacturing? One of these is manufacturing. 2. But the other man, okay, I need 1 more manufacturing person to say, so I'll hold on with this one. Okay. So let's not worry about this at this point of time. Let's continue now. Okay. Okay. So E in consecutive issues, C not in consecutive. So E is consecutive issues. And C not consecutive. Okay. So C is not consecutive issues, 2 papers, but E is consecutive issues. Statement 6. B is from logistics area. Very good. B is from logistics. B is from logistics. Logistics is 4 authors. So B is logistics. Okay. So how many logistics? So I have got 4 logistics. 2 people are logistics from India. Both have degrees from India. No, not 2 people have to be India. 2 is India. The remaining 2 can be Japanese or Chinese. Okay, so we'll look at that. So 2 Indians we have got from logistics. No, we don't at this point of time. Chalo. Had a paper scheduled in the April issue of the B is from logistics. A paper in the April issue. In the April issue, how many papers? 1. That means crossed out. B is from logistics. Okay. Okay. Then done. Statement 7. B and G belong to same country. B and G same country. B and G same country. Chinese we already have 2 authors taken care of. Chinese 2 taken care of. B and G, can they be Japanese? Japanese is already H. So if B and G are also Japanese, that means total number of Japanese authors becomes 3. Not possible. What does that mean? B and G have to be India. B and G have to be India because they cannot be Chinese. Both the Chinese authors have been taken care of. They are C and E. So China is out. 1 Japanese author is out. So I need only 1 more Japanese author. Since B and G both are same country, so both cannot be Japanese. That means both have to be Indian. So have I taken care of both the Indian authors? All 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. And that means the remaining person has to be Japanese. So we have taken care of all the 8 authors' nationality. Question number 6 is about, okay. I can answer question number 2. Which papers were written by Indian authors? Indian authors is going to be, let me just highlight that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So question number 2 again we have done. Okay, chalo आगे चलते हैं. Okay. B and G belong to the same country. None of their papers were scheduled in the same issue of the journal. B and G papers are not in the same issue of the journal. B has published a paper in April, only 1 paper. So that means G cannot publish a paper in April. But G has 3 papers. That means the remaining 3 months, 3 issues, there will be a paper. Okay. D a Japanese author. D जाएगा हमने पहले ही निकाल दिया. D a Japanese author from the manufacturing area. Okay. D is a Japanese author from manufacturing. Okay. Now, who's the other Japanese author? The other Japanese author is H. So if if we have one person from here, the second could also be here. We'll see. No, cannot be. Look at this one. Look at this. Look at this. One Chinese is from manufacturing, the other Chinese is from logistics. Now that means the Chinese authors can be one from manufacturing, one from logistics. So what will happen to the Japanese authors? They will also have to be one from manufacturing and one from logistics. Okay? So if D, a Japanese author, is from manufacturing, then H, the second Japanese author, cannot be from manufacturing, will have to be from logistics. Okay. So we have done that. So now what is left? India, 2 automation and 2 logistics. India, 1 automation, 1 logistics. India, 2 logistics. So that means so India, the 4th author which is missing is, look at this. India needs 2 automation, which is A, only 1 automation. India needs 2 logistics, 1 logistics, 2 logistics. So that means G has to be automation. Okay. So we have also, okay, except for the 2 Chinese, we have not been able to find anything for them. But let's look at question number 6 nevertheless. Okay. Because automation is complete. Okay. The first one is automation. How many automation? Automation are only 2 Indians. How many authors, how many papers by automation? 3 and 3, 6. It is 6. Does not help me much. Okay, let me look at automation is 6. Manufacturing. Manufacturing is 1 Japanese and 1 Chinese. Let me see. Manufacturing, the Japanese is 3 papers. And the other is either C or E. But both of them have 2 papers each. So this will be 5. So manufacturing has to be 5. It is either 3 plus 2 or 3 plus 2. Either way it is 5. Na? So it does not really matter. So it is 5. Manufacturing is 5. Manufacturing is 5. Correct answer, choice 2. So we have done question number 6 also. Okay, without fitting it the other stuff. Okay. Okay. Anything else left? There's I think still a statement, but I'm just looking at what are we left with. Okay. So now we have done question 1, 2, and 6, which are how many papers? The question 2, 3, question 3, 4, 5 is what? They are by not talking about which issue. So chalo, chalte hain aage. Okay. D, a Japanese motor from manufacturing, did not have a paper in the schedule in July. D did not have a paper in July issue. D did not have a paper in the July issue. Nothing in July, but D has 3 papers, so it obviously has to be in the other 3 issues. Okay. C and H belong to different areas. C is which area? C and H. C is manufacturing or logistics. H is logistics. If H is logistics, C will have to be manufacturing. So I can remove this and call this manufacturing. And C and E were again different areas, the 2 Chinese. So if C is from manufacturing, E will be from logistics. Okay. Now, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Between these 2 has to be 1. Between these 2 has to be 1. Between these 2 has to be 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. Now let's look at these 2. C and E. When do they publish their papers? Okay. Supposing C says not consecutive. Let me say these 2. Okay. Okay. And remember, we need 1 in each of these 4. Because right now, how many have we taken in each? January, so far, we have been able to accommodate 1, 2, 3, 4. April, we have been able to accommodate 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. July, we have 1, 2, 3. October, we have 1, 2, 3. So we need 1 in each of the 4. Keeping in mind that the papers published by C are in consecutive issues and these are not consecutive issues. How can that happen? So first of all, these 4 papers have to be 1 paper in each issue. Because each issue, there's a gap of 1. The only way you'll be able to say is when C not consecutive means in the extremes and and E consecutive. No other combination will work for you. You can try it out. Okay. So this completes the table for us. Okay. Now let's look at the remaining 3 questions. The good part was in this data set, काम बहुत कराता है. Lekin question 1, 2, and 6 you can do fast, especially if you look at the choices as we have done. Okay. Which of the okay, question number 3. Which of the following statements must be true? every issue had at least one paper from each country. Statement B, at most 2 papers by authors from each area. Okay. Each area authors is also what we need. Okay. Okay. चलो एक काम करते हैं. अगला क्या है? Well, let me look at question number 4 also. One paper authors, different author, Chinese. Okay. So everything is there. Manufacturing. Okay. So very quickly, let me just do one more thing. Okay. Question statement A says in question 3, every issue had at least one paper by authors of each country. Let's look at this one. Authors from each country. Do we have in January a paper by Indian? Yes. In one India, one Japanese, one Chinese. Yes. So every issue had at least one paper by authors from each country. So January is correct. February, April, India, Japanese, Chinese. Correct. July, one Indian. Then we have Chinese and Japanese. So yes, all 3 of them. Okay. And the last one, this is Chinese, Japanese, Indian. So statement 1 is correct. Statement A is correct because every issue. Okay. Every issue has at least one of those. Just erase this so that when we do more work, it won't interfere with what we are doing. Okay. What about say every issue had at most 2 papers by authors from each area? So we need the number of. Okay. So let me do one more thing. We have automation, manufacturing, logistics. In January, January the first paper is from, or rather, January we have one. A is from automation area, and he's done January and April and July. So 1, 1, 1. Okay. Then B is logistics. Logistics is 1. Logistics April 1 only. Then we have C is manufacturing, January and October, 1 January, 1 October. Okay. A, B, C. What about D? Manufacturing, January, April, October. Manufacturing, January, April, October. Then E, nothing in January. There's logistics, but the remaining 3. Nothing in January, but 1, 1, 1. Okay. Okay. Then we have F. Logistics, only 1 paper in October. Logistics, only 1 paper in October. Then we have G. Automation, nothing in April, but 1 in each of the other 3. Automation, nothing in April, but yes, there's 1 in January. Then in July. Then in October. And H, which is logistics. Logistics, January, April, July, nothing October. So we have done this also for each of the. Okay. Now let's look at statement number 2. Each issue has at most 2 papers by authors from each area. At most 2 papers by authors from each area. No. From logistics in April we had 3. So at most 2 is wrong because from logistics in April we had 3 papers. So statement B is wrong. The correct answer is choice 3. Question number 4. Which of the following statements is false? Okay. Great. So let's check. Every issue has at least 1 paper by authors from automation area. Yes, absolutely right. Every issue has. Okay. So we are looking for false. Because what we are looking for false is statement 1 is wrong. Cannot be the answer. Statement 2, every issue had exactly 1 paper by a Chinese author. Check कर लेते हैं. Every issue has a paper by a Chinese author or not? At least 1 paper, na? So China, yes, it has not. C or E tha na? C and E, 2 are in this and 2 are in the middle. Yes, statement 2 is also correct. So statement 2 is correct, so it cannot be the answer. I'll eliminate. Statement 3, every issue has exactly 2 papers by authors from logistics. Okay. Exactly 2 papers from the logistics area. Let's check. Okay. Logistics area, No. January there's only one paper. Other three have at least two, but January is only one paper. That means this statement is false and this is the correct answer. Okay. Should we check for choice 4? No, I will not check. तुम लोग खुद कर लेना है. Answer मिल गया ना, तो I'm not going to waste my time on the next one. But yes, if you want, you can do it. Last question, or the fifth question. I'm saying last because we have already done question 6. Which of the following statements is false? Okay. Again, there were exactly 2 papers by authors from manufacturing in July issue. Manufacturing July issue is 1 paper. Manufacturing July issue is 1 paper. We are looking for false. Yahi to answer hoga. This is false. Correct answer. End of the story. Now the important thing here is to again understand that question 1 was critical. Question 1 straight away I eliminated 2 choices and used the remaining. And by the time we were done with half the, when we reached here with the 5th statement, we had got the answer for question 1. And when we read a couple of one or so statement till statement 5, we were able to solve this question. Then what happened? For statement 7, by the time we finished statement 7 or 8, we were able to answer the other question 2 and 6 also. So question 1 to 6, the number of papers won, we were able to find it faster. And then obviously the issues took a little more time. The important thing is again to understand, paper में जब time की कमी होती है, you end up doing the easier question, and here 1, 2 and 6 were the easier ones. Do them first, and then if you have time, do the finish the rest of the stuff also, and make it a back and forth process. It is not पहले table बनाऊंगा फिर मैं questions करूंगा. No, it is not that I'll first do the table and questions. To me, it's a parallel process. I'll keep flirting between the question and the table and keep working on both of them. Okay, great. So let's close the session unless you have any doubts. And yes, my contact details, just to repeat, my phone number is 9811555160 and my email ID is gp@currylauncher.com. And yes, please don't forget to register for this one. Extremely important for anyone who's looking at CAT 25. Make sure you attend the session. I can assure you, whether it's quant or DILR or verbal, in each of these sections you'll certainly find, if you are willing to implement what we are suggesting, you will be able to do in DILR maybe 1 set extra, in quant another 5 to 6 questions, in English again another 4 to 5 questions. So roughly 5 questions each of the section you can improve if you just apply what we talk about in this session. Okay, so that's it from my side. And yes, इसको कैसे भूल गया यार, इस प्रोग्राम की भी तो प्रमोशन करनी होती है. Yes, so and this is by Gautam Bawa, Ravi Teja and me, and yes, हम लोग को जुगाड़ ही आता है, वो सब सिखाते हैं वहाँ पे. Okay then, thank you very much, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And yes, if there's any doubt you have, anything else you want me to do, please leave it in the comments below. I'll pick it up from there and create more sessions based on your requirements. All the best. Good night.